Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. Another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news, announced for the week ending June 17th, 2019. This is episode number 204 of the recap, and the first of news this week is from Final Fantasy XIV, and it's a good one. While we usually report a lot of negative and downbeat news, we have some hugely positive news for a change. Final Fantasy XIV's director Naoko Yoshida said this week that the game is at an all-time high in monthly subscribers, excluding free trials. According to the Lowstone statistics, the game has hit 1 million active subscriptions at the moment, which is surprising because we're at a time in between expansions right now. We're at the end of Stormblood and waiting for Shadowbringers to launch on July 2nd. The early access begins on June 28th. And interestingly enough, pre-orders for Shadowbringers is more than twice the pre-orders for Stormblood too. So things are going really well for Final Fantasy XIV right now. MMORPG is certainly not dead in the West, at least if you look at the top few games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV and whatnot. Anyway, but do you know what game is dead though? Alliance and Valiant Arms. The game relaunched as AvA Dog Tag, and it's already shutting down. It actually did shut down. In fact, Red Duck, the game's developer, announced the game shut down a mere 12 days after it launched the beta on May 2nd. So the shutdown announcement came on May 15th, which is less than 2 weeks after this one launched. They announced its closure. It shouldn't be surprising though, because this game has already shut down like 4 times. First through EG, then Area Games, then through Inmass, and now its own developer, Red Duck. RIP AvA Dog Tag. But given just how often this game is relaunched, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back to life once again. If you look for a Korean lobby shooter to play, I recommend playing Black Squad on Steam. Or just play CSGO, it's free to play now. Next up, speaking of MMORPGs that are actually popular in the West, World of Warcraft sent out a survey to its users discussing a future level squish, meaning the game's current level cap of 120 will actually be reduced. While reduction in max level seems odd, it can become a bit unmanageable as the level cap constantly gets increased. No word on when this is going to happen, but the survey specifically asked players, are you aware that the maximum level cap of 120 will be reduced in the future, which makes it seem like it's already certain to happen. WoW has squished stats in the past, so a level squeeze makes sense in the same vein. Also in WoW news, the next playable allied race, according to data mining and rumors, will be the fox-like Volpera. While unconfirmed, given the evidence from data mining, it seems quite likely our next playable allied race will be the Volpera. Up next, things aren't going well for Amazon Game Studios. The company reportedly laid off employees this last week and canceled a number of unannounced projects. According to Kotaku, they've laid off dozens of employees, but they're still working on New World, Crucible, and a new unannounced project. There was a lot of hype behind Amazon Game Studios a couple of years ago because, after all, it is Amazon, a company many in the West adore. But it looks like game development just isn't an industry they're cut out to crack, at least for now. As the only game they released publicly was Breakaway, which is a complete flop and already shut down. So I think a lot of the initial optimism for Amazon Game Studios is quite dead. Still, I like what they're trying to do with a New World. At least they're trying to do something a bit different. But I think making an MMO out of the concept that New World is going for is going to be near impossible, because from what I've seen so far of New World, it is extremely complex, and complexity is going to limit its market size. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not optimistic about Amazon Game Studios, at least not anymore. Here's hoping they prove me wrong though. Next up, Black Desert Online made a big announcement at E3. Black Desert is coming to the PS4 sometime later this year. The game was announced for Xbox One at last year's E3, so a PS4 release at this year's E3 makes a lot of sense. I expect that whatever exclusive deal they had with Microsoft expired, which is why they're launching on the PS4 now. No word on crossplay, but if I had to guess, it's going to be on its own separate server. Pearl Abyss also announced that the game hit 20 million total players across PC and Xbox, and the game's mobile version is scheduled to launch globally in English later this year. No release date on either the PS4 version or the mobile version just yet. I don't think the mobile version will do particularly well in the West, but it's already a huge hit in South Korea and Japan. In fact, the mobile version as is makes like 3 times as much money as the PC version, so we'll see how it does in the West though. And speaking of games coming to consoles, Microsoft announced that the console version for CrossFire will be coming to Xbox One, and it'll be debuting in 2020, with the console version being titled CrossFire X. This is a game that most of you probably haven't heard of, but it's actually one of the biggest games in the world, regularly vying with League of Legends for the #1 spot on the highest grossing PC games list. CrossFire makes over $1 billion a year, making it much bigger than CSGO and any other shooter. But that's all due to the game's huge success in China. The PC version is playable in the West in English, but it's not particularly popular and is completely paid to win. I have my doubts about the Xbox One version, as the PC version in the West was a complete flop, but I think Microsoft is just trying to buy exclusives for their console and decided to throw money at this one. Again, not sure if it's going to work in the West because of the pay-to-win nature. Plus, honestly, CSGO is just better. Next up, Digital Extremes announced the next expansion of their popular co-op sci-fi MMO shooter Warframe titled Empyrean, which was initially called Railjack. The goal of Empyrean is to allow 1 to 4 players to seamlessly transition from land into space into cooperative tactical ship-to-ship combat. TennoCon kicks off on July 6th, so we'll learn more about it then, but we did get this cool teaser trailer you're seeing in the background right now, and Warframe remains one of the most popular free-to-play games in the West. Next up, Square Enix announced a new strategy mobile RPG called War Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius over at E3. Not too much to really know about this game just yet, but it is based on the Brave Exvius universe, and the game's name is a complete mouthful. Let me just say that one more time. War of the Visions, Final Fantasy, Brave Exvius. They could just name it War of the Visions, but nope, they slapped it all together. No release date on this one just yet either, but it's a mobile RPG, and it'll probably be a gacha hero collector of sorts with strategy elements. But yeah, beyond that, we got nothing. But this game is coming out eventually in English. Next and last bit of news this week is from a new Chinese mobile MMORPG titled Eastward Legend Empyrean, which is a wuxia-themed MMO with these gorgeous cartoony graphics. A lot of these South Korean and Chinese mobile MMORPGs haven't really taken off in the West, but it hasn't stopped these companies from localizing and launching their games here anyway. Given the nature of the game, I expect autoplay elements. I don't know what to expect of this one, but I do love the art style. And no word on the release date just yet. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO News this week. No podcast tomorrow. I'm over in Vancouver right now until next week. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Later guys.